All right, we are ready for our final debate of the evening for County Sheriff. We have candidates for the sheriff position, Jimmy Burrow and Ed Hollingsworth. As in the other races, we will begin giving each candidate a 2-minute introduction, or 2 minutes of time to introduce themselves, focusing on why you are running for county sheriff and why you are qualified. We will begin alphabetically with Jimmy Burrow going first.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Burrow. I've been here in this community all my life. I was born and raised here. I've got a wife that works at the hospital. She's been there 23 years. I've got 3 sons. 2 of them work at Washita River Unit, and the other works at St. Vincent's at Hot Springs. And I'm a Republican. I'd like to bring stability back to Hot Springs County. I worked with Arkansas Department of Corrections for 10 years. I've opened up several units, including the intake. And I think a sheriff needs to be a good leader and be, have a lot of stability. Because if you don't have any stability, you're kind of a poor leader in my book. A top priority for me is that I want to reconstruct our jail, update the policies and procedures for the entire department. I'm already working on policy and procedures to be given to every employee on January the 1st, immediately after I am sworn in as sheriff. I will select a competent jail administrator and will work closely with him when I take office. I've already chosen a chief deputy. I'm currently a sergeant. I supervise and train officers. I was over property with inmates contraband and that they had to go to court in our facility with. I had to keep up with, make sure it didn't get lost. So nothing's got sued or anything like that. I also was employee of the year the first year I was there. I've had several other commendations from the state. I've learned that you must have accountability, physical responsibility, integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. Thank you.
Thank you. Ed, 2 minutes for introduction.
I'm Ed Hollingsworth. I went to school in Malvern and Magnet, so that's why I'm so flexible. I'm married to Sherry Adams. She's in the teaching. She taught at Magnet. She also taught at Glenrose, and was principal at Glenrose. I went into the Navy. I flew rescue missions out of Nam. Came back, went to work for a pharmaceutical company, which we actually had many billions of dollars of budget to balance. And, I've got three sons and a whole horde of grandkids. My youngest grandson is 18 months. He's like living with a chainsaw. He's just into everything. What I can tell you about the sheriff's office is when I took over, I made a lot of promises, and I fulfilled every promise I ever made to the citizens of Osprey County. I restored honesty and integrity to the county. I went around to all the sheriffs in our surrounding county, and not one of them would even deal with Osprey County because everything they sent over went into a black hole, and they said it wasn't no need to even do it. We have now amended our fences. We are all good. My men are doing good. I'm very proud of my folks I've got working for me. They've all been to a leader. They're trained. Now we're on a good run, and I've got the numbers, and I hope I get to tell them both all over. Thank you.
And thank you very much. All right, our first question. The coin toss was won by Ed, and so he'll answer the first question first. Teens and young adults know that the jail population problem has been a chronic issue. How do you plan on implementing changes that keep the county jail population at a more manageable level?
Okay, that is actually a great question because last year they put in a parole hold. And right now, they're about 50 to 60% of our prisoners in jail right now. And it's that way all over the state. It's not just us. You know, I have female prisoners there, which, you know, quote unquote, asked me not to do that or suggested I didn't do that. But I can't turn them out on the street. We called every jail, ADC, everybody, please take our female prisoners. We got rid of one lady, and she had to be in good health, and she went to Sheridan, and she was in on a misdemeanor. We still got the rest of them. We did send one more to CCC in Hot Springs, which brought us down to 7, and, you know, it's kind of like I told the court the other night. There's not any way if this is going to get any better. It's because as long as we have a parole hold, they get off sudden. As long as we got a parole hold, this problem is going to grow because our females and our males, we're getting more of them. My capacity in jail is 50. I keep 75 to 80 in there. But as long as I keep the 4 inches off the concrete, it's okay. So I go to Walmart and buy blow-up mattresses, whatever I got to do to keep them in there. And jail standards came down and gave us okay. They said we were doing a great job with the females. We were doing everything legally. The males were all right. And so unless we build a pod and get 2 more female officers over there, just for a female, it's not going to work.
Thank you. Jimmy?
Well, you're talking about stopping like drugs and stuff like that. It's never going to stop. It's always going to be there. But I think you need to start from the ground up. Go to your schools. Start with your little kids, 5, 6, 7, 8, because a lot of them I talk to in the penitentiary that's 18, 19 years old, started when it's 6, 7 years old. I never dreamed of that because I guess I was in kind of a closed community out Big Creek where I live. But I've learned a lot since I've been there. You can talk to them, you can teach them, but you're going to have to start at the school and build your way up because it's just not going to, it's never going to go away. And we're going to try to stop some of this, like meth houses, stuff like that. You're not going to really stop the people taking it. They're going to go wherever it's at. My job is going to be to try to stop these meth houses that's all over this county. See if we can't shut them down. You're not going to be able to shut them all down, but we're going to work hard as we can. I'm going to work with all the enforcement people around, DEA, whoever I have to have, because they are ready to help us. And I can't wait to get started, to try to stamp this out, work with our kids, work with surrounding agencies, and the court, and try to stop this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ed, you have up to 1 minute for a response.
Okay, I thank you very much. The response would be, we turned in over $1 million worth of stolen property in 1 year. The first 2 months I was in office, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 rapes and pedophiles and child molestation and all this. And in the first month, we had 12 confessions on rapes. Those folks are in jail. And we had just about the same in the second month. And all that adds up. Once you get these off the street, then your crime rate goes down. So, between, we've got millions of dollars in drugs and prescription drugs and meth and crystal. So, we have done everything we can do.
Thank you. Jimmy, you have up to 1 minute for a response.
As I said, it starts with your kids. They first start giving them drugs for free. That's what they like to do to get them hooked. The next thing is, bring me something and we'll give you some more drugs. But most kids have not got any money. That's the reason your crime rate's up so bad. So many of them I talked to said if they just made a different choice, had somebody to talk to or something to do, but nobody ever talked to them because there's a lot of single parents, can't stay home with their kids, they can't do nothing about it, their kids is by themselves, and there's nothing for them to do. They're out looking for something to get into. If not, they're looking for them to try to find them to get them started on drugs and stuff like that. That's what I want to try to stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second question is, beyond the jail issue, what do you see as the biggest challenges facing the Sheriff's Department? And how are you planning to specifically address these challenges? Jimmy, you have up to 2 minutes to respond, to answer.
Well, I work at a prison all the time, and we don't go broke, we keep money. I think if we could do a lot of things different than what we're doing now, like water bill, phone bill, there's all kind of stuff that can be cut. It's just, the county's only got so much money anyway. You can only work with what you've got. And the way I look at it, I'm going to start a whole new system and get some good people working around me and start with some agency and ask them how they do it different with their small jails. Because if you don't ask for help, you don't get no help. If things don't get better if you don't ask for help to help you. And that's my answer.
Okay, thank you. Ed, you have up to 2 minutes to answer the question.
Okay, on our jails and, the water and all that, before I took office, it was 23 to 15 to 30 at max in the jail. I keep 75 people in there to 80, and they're going to use more water. They're going to use more electricity. But those are stable, fixed costs, and it's, you just have to deal with it. We have a plumbing system that when they built that jail, all the parts came from somewhere up north. So our plumbers have to buy 5 different parts for everything that might go wrong. And believe it or not, inmates are not very careful with their showers and things like that, and they break continuously. The air conditioner goes out. That's $3,600 easy every time. Garbage disposal. Well, it's like running a large hotel at all times. The upkeep is unbelievable in the jail. And it's just, we don't have the revenue to keep it up. And when you get budgeted, not on monies you spent, but last year's budget, you're not going to make it. I've always dealt in actual numbers. If I spent $1 million, then my budget should be $1 million, not $300,000. So, that's the way it runs right now. So, until we get the funds to fix that jail and build onto it, to hold the females, then, we're just kind of floating in the air. We're not getting anything. We're not accomplishing anything. We're just holding them and praying that we make it through the end of the year. And we transfer money all the time, around and around and around, just to get there.
Thank you. In your 1 minute response, just a reminder that this question was going beyond the jail issue. So any other challenges not about the jail, I think would be what this question was asking. So Jimmy, you have up to 1 minute to respond.
Well, I've learned over 10 years, you've got to watch inmates when they're in the shower, keep them from tearing the showers up. You've got to hold your men accountable for what they do. By state laws, they've got so many minutes in the shower. There's a lot of things that you can cut back by just your officers doing their job. You've got to have somebody that's over that jail, that is accountable, knows what they're doing, and is trained well. Because if you haven't got anybody in there, everything's going to get tore up. Their ceiling tile's been tore up where they're crawling around in the ceiling. I can't understand that because where I work, we do checks every so many minutes. And if you don't do that, you don't last long in prison. So I think the jail needs to be updated from the officers and trained a little better what they're doing from the things that I've seen that's been in the paper, what's been tore up, damaged, and the money that's been spent. I think we need to talk to Quorum Court, work with them a little better, and I think we can work out with them a little bit more money, get another officer too.
Ed, again, a response beyond the jail issue. What are the biggest challenges facing the sheriff department?
Okay, but I would like to address, part of that, now, but, we've only got 2 people on a shift, and there's only so much training you give 2 people to watch 75 to 80 people. And if you go into a pod and they said, and a fight breaks out, you've got 1 guard in there. Well, it's panic. I mean, we've got to get some people in there quick, and which we do it, and we've solved all the problems. But, it's a staffing issue. It's not anything but that. But one of the largest things about, the sheriff's department is training. I've got everybody through a leader now, so everybody's trained. And that was a huge problem, because when you lose a deputy, it's the same as in the jail. We've got 2 deputies on at one time. So when you've only got 2 deputies, you send one to a leader, then you're
All right. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. She previewed. Finish that thought, then. I apologize.
I don't even know where I was.
Okay. I apologize for that. Okay. Question number 3. What level of law enforcement credentials and ongoing professional development and training should be required of the sheriff deputies and other personnel in the county sheriff's department, including for the position you seek as county sheriff? Ed, you have first 2 minutes, up to 2 minutes to answer that question.
Okay, well, I believe every sheriff should be tased. I mean, that is an experience that I'll never forget. And when you go into jail, you have to leave your gun in the car, so you need a taser. So all my deputies are taser certified. I've got 2 that's in a leader right now. We'll get out at the end of the week. They're going to be instructors, and they're going to bring our personnel up to jail standards. We can't afford to go out and hire somebody to train these people. There's just no money. It's just training, and I've got 1 jailer in a leader, preparing him for a deputy. So we just got to keep training our men and sending them out. But when you've only got 2 people, one on the east end, one on the west end, you've got 680 square miles. It's a lot of territory, and I'm telling you, we burn the tires off those cars, and people say that we do drive too fast, but when you've got a call and you're down in Lake Drive and Lake Catherine, and you get a call at Bonneville, you got a ways to go, and it's a life or death situation. Especially think about it as your child, and somebody was killing her, and 30 seconds is a lifetime. So we have to be there.
Thank you. Jimmy, up to 2 minutes to answer the question.
Read to me again.
What level of law enforcement credentials and ongoing professional development and training should be required of the sheriff deputies and other personnel in the county sheriff's department, including for the position you seek as county sheriff?
Well, I know there's training, because where we're at, we get trained every year from the state. I think all the officers and the sheriffs should go to every bit of the training they can get that the state offers, because the state offers a lot of things. And the way I look at it, the more training you get, the better you get. And as far as covering the county, if I thought Lake Catherine, I thought there was supposed to be 1 on each end, but I thought there was 1 on east and 1 on west. But anyway, I'm confused about that. But if you're on the west end, like it wouldn't take that long to get there if you're already there. But I know there's only 2 officers, and you can only hire whatever the court lets you hire. But we're going to work on that, try to get some grants, try to get some help, and see if we can better what we've already got. Because what's already there can always be improved if somebody studies it. You get the right people to look at it, help you out, and not do it by yourself. there's always an answer for something I found out. Thank you.
Thank you. Ed, you have up to 1 minute to respond.
Okay, the reason I brought up Lake Drive was, that was my last scuffle down there, and I had to bring both deputies in to help one another out, because one deputy sometimes cannot handle it. And when somebody gets their teeth knocked out and broken and slammed against the pavement, you just got to do it. And I had the same thing happen over in Bonnerdale. This guy, he was psycho, and he went into this mode. And my deputy bought 280, and he was throwing him down like it was a ping pong ball. So I had both deputies in the west end, plus 4 state troopers, and myself, to hold this guy down. Once he got shot with the electricity, he was very cooperative. But you've got to get him to that point, and these guys are risking their life. They really are. And when I'm out, when they go on a call, I'll go out and sit in the driveway. They never get out of my car, but they know they got backup. I just won't leave the deputy alone.
Thank you, Ed. Jimmy, you have up to 1 minute to respond.
Well, in our prison, one guy has 160 men. You're in there with nothing but 2 hands and your mind, and you cannot use your hands because you won't make it out. You've got to learn how to deal with all sorts of problems. And as the sheriff said, we're always short-handed. There's usually 3 people in a house, and you did 360. That's not very many people if you've got a sergeant. And the sergeant has to go down there, like I do, with 1 officer, or maybe 2 officers at the most, and they're with 80 men, or maybe up to 160, depends on what's happening in 1 or 2 barracks. If one sees it, it happens everywhere. You've got to learn to deal with problems like that. I've dealt with it for 10 years. I've never been hit, never been knocked out, and I think you just got to deal with people in different ways. And we get all sorts of people in there too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. The 4th question. Young adults are aware that in emergency situations, the county sheriff often has to deal with county volunteer firefighters. How do you plan to cooperate with these other emergency service providers who report to the county judge and not to the county sheriff directly? Jimmy, you have up to 2 minutes to answer that question.
Well, I think we need to communicate with our people in the firemen. I think they need to get back on the radio frequency in case there's things goes on. They might could come and help us. Because I'm going to tell you, it's like Ed said, you ain't got a couple of people. Any people that's listening might could help. I think we need to use them. And that's the answer I got to that.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. Ed, you have up to 2 minutes to answer the question.
What I have done, the guy that puts in the radios goes to all the law departments and the sheriff's department, and I give him Robin, and he is a 911 coordinator, and I sent him in there, and he got our frequencies and taught him how to program it into their radio, so that we're now communicating. But at first, when we went digital, it was a nightmare. We still need another signal because we get so far out on West End, we can't even talk. We can't use our handheld radios. So it goes on and on. I respect them. I went to when they had the big storm through Bonnerdale. I was up on top of the house with the fire. So we get along great. I have no problem with them at all. It's just an ongoing thing. It's just like a family. You just got to grow together. And once they learn that they can trust you, then everything else seems to go pretty smooth. Thank you.
And thank you. Jimmy, you have up to 1 minute for a response.
Well, I want to have more reserves, and I think we've got a constable every little bit. And I don't think they're being utilized, or anything. I'm going to try to use them all I can because they were always asking what they can do. How can they help? They've been calling me constantly asking, could we get with the sheriff's department, have a meeting, help you out? And I've got reserves that's been begging to start a reserve. I'd like to start a big reserve again, because I've got plenty of people that are wanting to help me, even from the prison. They're all certified on anything I need. Thank you.
Thank you. Ed, you have up to 1 minute to respond.
Okay, the auxiliary is an animal all in itself. They have to be trained. They've got standards they got to look up to. And, you know, we've got, 4 or 5 that really do it. They have to ride with an officer so many hours a month. They have to take this course that lasts 2 weeks. But they don't give the course all at once. It's like, every Wednesday, Thursday, and on like that. And this costs them a little money. It comes out of their pocket. They make no money, but they're willing to do this, and I understand it. But there's only a certain few now that's willing to put out the money and the time, because when they have to go out and spend a 12-hour shift with one of the deputies, it's tough. I had one of our Quorum Court members ride with the guy. He said, I made it to midnight. He said, that's all I could handle. He said, dude, this guy was all over the county.
Thank you, Ed. That was, okay, I got that one right, all right. Our final question for the county sheriff debate is, youth feel strongly that our county parks and areas should be respected and kept safe. How do you plan to make the county a safe place to live? And how can you lend your own leadership to help make Hot Spring County an attractive place for tourism, as well as having an improved quality of life? Ed, you have up to 2 minutes to answer that question.
Okay, I think I showed that at Bridge Fest. I had my whole team out there. I had my volunteers out there. I bet I had 8 or 9 volunteers out there. And we worked well with the police department. We did it last year, and I think my butt over here can tell before that, we didn't do anything. But we were out directing traffic. I was out directing traffic, bringing people, elderly people in that was crippled, and it's just, we have to show up at these events, because we did not have one incident this year that took place. Right? And I keep picking on Bridge Fest because that's the biggest event we've got. And out of all those people, we didn't have one, because they saw so many city police out there, and so many sheriff departments, and so many auxiliaries, that they would have been insane to start any trouble, because we would have been on them very quickly. I utilize my son, to go to ball games, to work Bridge Fest and things of that nature. But he is qualified in all the fields he needs to be qualified in. And that is the trick with this auxiliary. You've got to go through the courses. And you've got to go through shoes. You've got to pass it. You've got to pass the test. And if they do that, I would be tickled to death. And, we plan on growing, and the more we get, the more we can use. But our parks and recreation is vital to Mountain. Because to me, that's going to help Mountain grow. If the kids are having a good time, the moms are happy. Moms are happy, everybody's happy. And it's just, that's the way of life.
Ed, thank you. Jimmy, you have up to 2 minutes to answer the question.
Well, the way I look at it, like he said, they do need to be trained, but you need to utilize everybody that you can. Like our constables, again, I'm going to fall back on that. I don't think I seen any constables at the Brick Fest or at the barbecue bash. I was at the barbecue bash at Bismarck. That's a pretty big thing. I seen one officer, is all I seen up there. And the people was talking to me about that. Why is there more officers up here? I couldn't answer their question because I'm not the current sheriff, but I want to be, because I can fix that. And like I said, I work with a lot of people that works out of the prison, that's at Glen Rose, Magnet, Bismarck, all over this county, that have asked me to join up, become a reservist, and use all their stuff. They won't charge us nothing. And the state's also offered dog team, anything they got, I can use that anytime I want it. Another thing, I think leadership. Reservists, when they get so low, it's so something to do with leadership. From where I come from, if you've got a good leader, everybody's behind you. The way I see it right now, if the leadership stays like it is now, there's not going to be any reservists. There's not going to be anything get any better, because something has to be done now, and what I see is going to have to be fixed quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Ed, you have up to 1 minute to respond.
Okay, the biggest
The biggest thing is the barbecue fest. I got there at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Ed, your mic's not on.
Green lights on. Yellow.
Here, why don't you get mine?
You gonna start me home?
At least I got first to go to the mic, no, I got there at 7 o'clock, you know, so I was helping setting up booths. They wanted me going to Dunkin' Tank, and I said, absolutely not, because I haven't healed up from the last time, from the rodeo. But we directed the parade. I blocked the road and directed traffic, and I had 2 more deputies there, one on each end, one following, and one ahead of them. And then we went to the Brick Fest, and not the Brick Fest, but the barbecue bash. And we stayed over there till about 2 o'clock, and then I left. And they got 2 domestic calls, so they had to leave. But we did have one constable there, and by that time we had 3 more deputies come in and work the fest. Because they kept calling me, and they said, well, are you coming back? I said, no, I put in about 8 hours over every day.
Let me, that's out. All right, well, thank you. Jimmy, you now have 1 minute to respond.
Well, I got there about 3 o'clock. I stayed at 9 something. I guess I didn't see all them officers. I was walking around, and I didn't notice them, I guess. But anyway, the thing I'm talking about is everything that goes on in this county. When I was a kid, you always had reservists. I don't care where you went, you was afraid. Excuse me. You was afraid to do anything. George Smith, some of the older guys, all of us around here, has been around for years. Every time you went somewhere, they were there. They always had somebody watching you. I don't care if it's at the fair, anything goes on, there was somebody always there. And that's what I want to do, is get it back in with the people and try to protect them, their kids, because I'm really for kids running around like they used to. Right now, they can't do that. Because if you leave them for 5 or 10 minutes, you can't find them, there's no telling where they'll be that close to a highway. I want to stop stuff like that too, because I deal with that at the prison and learn how to fix that too. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the questions for the county sheriff debate. We now have time for 1 minute closings. We will go in the reverse order that we had in the introductions. So Ed, you will get to begin the 1 minute closing.
I have been very proud of Hot Springs citizens, the way they stepped up and helped me. I've got more leads and more calls from grandparents, mothers, dads, family members, because their children are going astray, and that is a huge, huge help. And it takes trust in the administration to get that done. Right now, I have a seasoned force. I keep on saying sales force, but they are an entity of the sheriff's department, and they know what they're doing. It's the best. I put them up against anybody in the state. Our CID team is great. I mean, they get more confessions, and trust me, prosecutors love confessions. That way, it makes life a lot easier for all of us. And 99 out of rape cases, one or all the other.
Okay, Ed, thank you very much for your closing. Jimmy, you now have up to 1 minute for a closing statement.
Well, as your sheriff, I'll be equal and fair. Policy and procedures will be equally and fairly followed instead of being made up as you go. As a sheriff, I'll be visible in the county, asking questions from the citizens and surrounding people and law offices what we can do to improve the sheriff's department. Because that people out in the community really knows what's going on, because we can't be at every house. And also, our Hot Spring County Sheriff's Office, I just don't think it's going to make another 2 years. We need a sheriff who will do right, one who respects the rights of everyone, one who understands there are rules and laws of our great state that does the same, and who truly cares what is best for Hot Spring County and understands that to be successful, you must be able to work with others. And I would like to thank everybody for attending tonight. Thank Hodo and all the citizens and everybody else involved for coming out tonight. I would like to vote November the 4th. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, again, it takes great courage to stand up here dealing with microphone feedback and questions, and I just want to also give these two candidates a round of applause from all of us for their debate tonight. This concludes the candidate debate for this evening. I want to thank the Chamber and the Student Government Association of the college for sponsoring the event. I want to thank all the candidates for being here tonight, staying through the entire debate. I want to thank all of you for attending and coming tonight. The most important thing you can do after a debate like this is to vote. So please vote in the November 4th election. Thank you all very much, and have a good evening.